The muscles burned in every part of my body, like I'd worked out for 10 hours without stopping. The result of an all-night pacing I'd done back on my cell block. My lawyer stood next to me, clutching my right elbow as if he could sense that I was about to take a spill onto the courtroom floor. My lips curled from the wave of nausea that crept up from the pit of my stomach to my esophagus. Judge Graves took her seat. There was nothing attractive about the judge, and I wasn't just thinking that because she was about to decide the fate of my life. She was small and hunched over like she was about to look for something on the floor. I could tell that the lump that had settled between her shoulders as easily as a camel's grew was just what was meant to happen to her as she got older. Judge Graves reminded me of a witch I had seen in this book, Hansel and Gretel, when I was back with my Nana, when I was still allowed to attend school. If I remembered right, the witch in the book ate kids or something like that. Judge Graves did too. To me, the judge looked like she smoked 10 packs of cigarettes a day. I knew a smoker when I saw one. That drawn-up, ashen, purplish-toned skin, those square gray stained teeth, those burnt-tipped fingers and greenish-gray fingernails. I had lived with smokers all my life. Judge Graves probably hid her pack-a-day habit from her family and friends. Of course, they'd be too bourgeoisie to recognize the signs of a chain smoker. I pictured Graves spraying something minty into her mouth and using that stink of White Diamond's perfume that old ladies wore just because Elizabeth Taylor made it. That was a quick, fleeting thought. Me wondering if Judge Graves had family who cared about her. She waved her wrinkled hand and motioned for everyone to be seated. "Except for the defendant and her counsel," Graves growled, that distinct smoker's rattle bubbling in her throat. My lawyer gave my elbow a quick squeeze. I ignored him. "Counsel, I'm going to address your client directly. No sense in prolonging this with silly motions to dismiss and the like. Your client has been convicted of a jury of her peers, and I'm prepared to sentence her today. Is that understood?" Judge Graves announced. My attorney said, "Yes, Judge," and let go of my arm like it was a venomous snake. I stared straight at the judge. My thoughts were racing like the cars at the Daytona 500. Jury of my peers. I hardly thought 5 old white ladies, 2 white men, 2 Hispanic ladies, 1 Chinese guy, 1 black dude who slept the entire trial, and 1 old black lady who kept crying whenever somebody mentioned the victim counted as a fucking jury of my peers. There wasn't 1 black girl on there who had been through the shit I had been through. Not 1 chick who could at least say, "Damn, I see how that could have happened." Jury of my peers, my ass. My legs were moving, but I wasn't making them move. I also couldn't make them stop moving. "Miss Jones, the crime you have committed is abominable, to say the least. In my opinion, you don't ever need to walk the streets again. You crossed not only legal boundaries, but you trampled all moral and civil boundaries that I could think of. Trust is something that you earn, and in light of the situation, no one on God's green earth should ever trust you again. Under New York State sentencing guidelines, this court is prepared to sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. However, it is under your due process of the law that we give you an opportunity to tell me, and this court, why I should not render the most punitive sentence available to me under the guidelines. You can tell me why, in your own words, I might have leniency on you and maybe sentence you to 25 years to life with the possibility of parole. What that means is, maybe one day, some parole board will have mercy on your soul and let you back onto the streets. Before I render a final sentence, you will also have the opportunity to present members of society who can speak on your behalf, to tell me why they think I should have leniency on you during this sentencing. Miss Jones, I must tell you that just as it is your right to bring forth others who can speak for you, it is also the victim's family's opportunity to tell me why I should put you away for the rest of